Hello again, all my fluid art friends. This is Doris at DF Designs. I want to thank everybody who made it to the live last night. This is, let me put it underneath this camera so you get a better view. Oops, there goes the glare. So I'm going to tilt it this way. This is what happened with the record album. And it did seep off the edge, which I've already cut it off. I think that happens because it's a flat piece. And it's not what I wanted for the challenge that I'm in. So, okay, today I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do, wait a minute, where's that one? There it is. I wanted to get rid of the last of the hardener in here. I'm only going to do 6 ounces, even though I got a lot of colors, because I'm only going to need a little bit of the colors in the middle. I'm going to try a string pull with resin, and I'm going to do a feather, but it's going to be a peacock feather. I saw somebody do it in acrylic pouring, and I figured it could go into resin too. You know me, if it can be done in acrylic, I'm going to make resin do it too. Okay, first I'm putting in my hardener. Now I'm only doing 6 ounces because I don't want to have too much, because I'm going to have a white base coat. I don't know if I'm going to do peacock feathers on this. I may do just an abstract to kind of tie it all in together. But I'm going to coat it with white. Let me get to mixing this. Get it in here and get to mixing it. I'm going to coat it with the white, and I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum in my resin for the white, because I want some cells when I do the dark green pull with the string. And then I'm going to do a little center in it in different colors, kind of like what a peacock feather looks like. And then I might touch it up just a little bit with a little bit of extra resin around it. Depends on how. Wait a minute. Is that 3? Yeah, there's 3. Sorry. I was trying to make sure that I didn't have too much hardener in there. Because if you mix a little bit too much hardener in with your resin, with your part B with your part A, whatever ratio it's supposed to be, it'll set up too fast. If you mix too much resin, the resin part in with the hardener, if you got too much of that, not enough of the hardener, you're gonna have marshmallow. Not that I know that from experience. Okay, so I don't have to keep getting up. Let me get some sticks out too for the colors. My channel is just growing by leaps and bounds. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. I want to thank everybody for the thumbs up and the comments. I love all the comments. I love all the thumbs. If you leave a thumbs down, I'd like to know what was wrong, that doesn't really, it doesn't bother me. I just want to know what you didn't like about it. If you want to message me privately, my right there below at the bottom of the screen is my Instagram and Facebook username. So you can private message me on there if you want. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to get mad. Okay, when you're mixing your resin, you want to make sure that you scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and you scrape the stick off too. Don't worry about the bubbles. The bubbles will come out with the heat gun. Or whatever heat you're using. You can use a torch. Some people use one of those, what are they called? Those Bic lighters that have that puts the flame about this far away. I've seen some people use that too. I wouldn't recommend that on resin. I would recommend a heat gun or a little butane torch. You can get, I got a Ronson one from Walmart, but you can also get those little creme brulee torches from off of Amazon, or from let me see, Amazon, or you can even go to a kitchen store. They might have it. I can tell you right now, Walmart doesn't have a creme brulee torch. Okay, you want to mix your resin for a good 3 minutes. That's why I'm able to talk while I'm mixing it. You want to make sure you don't see any strings in there. Don't worry about the bubbles. The bubbles will be gone once you start heating. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I'm going to end up doing, wait a minute, I'm going to end up doing more white than anything, but not a whole lot of white anyway. Then I'm going to do some, I don't know which green I'm going to use, because I got a forest green, but I was thinking I could use the emerald green and put some black in it. So I think I'll do the forest green. Then I'm going to use, now these are all, can you see them? Yeah, you can. These are all epoxy tints by Just Resin. And the white is just, excuse the label, the white is just the Rust-Oleum Protective Enamel oil-based. So I got the green for the feather, and then I got a blue and a lighter green. I'm using Breakfast at Tiffany's and Cerulean Blue. And then I'm going to do some gold, so I'm going to do the bright gold. The person I saw do this is, it's a channel called Crafty Jen, and she did hers in acrylic pouring. I loved it, but you know me, I gotta try it in resin. Okay, this looks like it is clear. I'm scraping the sides just to make sure I get every little bit. Okay, I'm gonna need more white than anything, so I'm gonna do the white, because you don't need a whole lot for these little pieces. And the reason I have my cups in this little muffin tin, if you've never seen me before, because I have a tendency to not pay attention, and I have knocked over little cups of resin. So get yourself a little cheap muffin tin and do put them in that so they don't tip over. Okay, I don't need a whole lot of the 3 colors. So I'm just putting a little, about an ounce in each one of these cups for the colors. Because basically you're not even gonna really be pouring the color on there, because I know resin likes to spread out. So after I get the feather shape done and I start putting some of the stuff in the middle, I'm gonna be okay, let's see here. I'm gonna be putting the, after I get the feather shape down with the string, then I'm gonna be putting just a little bit of the paint in the middle to make it look like the center of a peacock feather. Sorry, I'm 58 years old, and sometimes my brain don't work the way it should, and I forget words. Okay, now basically I've taken all the resin out of there. So easiest way to get rid of the last of the resin is to get your stick against the side. Now when I stand the cup up, it may not stay, so I'm going to lean it for just a little bit, so that way I know it'll stay against the side. Okay, well, let me do the white first. I need my little can opener for paint cans. I finally remembered to put it over here. I've shaken this up. You don't need a whole lot of tint in there for the base. Less is more is what I say. Same thing with the okay, let me do this cup with the white, because that's got just a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting some of the white out, letting it drizzle in there. You don't need a whole lot, but then you don't want it too transparent. So I will see how that looks when I mix it, because this is just going to be the base coat, and I hope I have enough for the whole thing. You don't need a thick layer for the base coat, and the reason I'm using the Rust-Oleum is because this stuff will make cells. And that looks opaque enough. Okay, there's my white. Let me put the lid back on before I knock it over, which I have a tendency to knock over paint cans and other stuff too. Sorry about that, didn't mean to do that on camera, but I'm gonna go with the forest green. I don't think I've used this forest green yet, so let's see what it looks like in there. So let me see. It doesn't need a bath. Sometimes, and it's not a really big deal, sometimes the Just Resin tints and pastes that come in these jars, you might have to put it in a warm bath if it solidifies any. So what you do is you make sure the lid's on really tight, put them down in a dish, make sure the water only goes up to the bottom of the lid, and just put hot water in there. Okay, let it sit for about 10 minutes or so in the hot water. Take them out, dry it off really good, because you don't want the water that's on the outside to accidentally get into your okay, I don't need a whole lot. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, that's going to be enough, because I don't want to. That's just an ounce in there, so I'm not going to need these colors. So I'm using the forest green. Come on, cups, stand up. Stay. Cups don't listen. Okay, next I'm going to be doing the Cerulean Blue, if I'm pronouncing that right. I might be butchering the name, I don't know. And I'm going to stir this one up too, and this one's a little bit solid at the bottom. I should have checked that before I started, but it's not that solid, so I can mix it up a little bit. This one will get a warm bath and another stir after the video. I don't want this thick stuff in my resin. I just want the tint in there, and I don't have but maybe an ounce in there, so I don't need that that much at all. And there went my stick. Save. I saved it. I mean, not only is the resin too expensive to waste, you know, which is why I do coasters and whatnot after I've done a big piece, but so's the paste. You don't want to waste that, okay? Now this is one of my favorite colors by Just Resin, called Breakfast at Tiffany's. It is a really nice aqua turquoise, and I'm just mixing it up. And I'm just taking just a little dollop out to go in there. And then last but not least, the Bright Gold by Just Resin. It's a powder, so it's a pigment powder, so you don't need to stir it. You don't want to do a whole lot, so I'm going to do about that much in this little cup. I got extra sticks. If you stir something, you can always, and you don't think it's dark enough or opaque enough, you can always add more color, but you don't want to reuse this stick. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to get the pigment off of the stick and down into the resin. So, there we go. Okay, that's going to look like a really, really pretty color for the feather part. You want to mix it up really good to make sure that it's incorporated. You want to scrape the bottom and scrape the sides of the cup to make sure you got all the color incorporated into the resin. And because you got a concentrated amount of the pigment on your stick after you had stirred it in the jar, you want to make sure you scrape off the concentration of the paste. Powders do that a little bit, but not as much. Okay, this one might need more. I don't know yet. Yep. This one needs a little bit more. So you get a clean stick. Don't think it's a waste of a stick because, you know, you don't want to get the resin in your paste jar. So okay, I'm going to put that down in there, and I will scrape it off before I stir. I hope that was still on camera. Yeah, it looks like it was. I try to remember to always have my hands on camera and the back of my head not on camera, okay? I'm just going to use both sticks together to mix. Now this is still a little transparent, but that's okay, because it's just going to be a little dollop in the middle. Okay, here's the Breakfast at Tiffany's. Scrape the excess concentrate of the pigment off to get it down in there, because when you're stirring and you got the pigment that's stuck to the stick, it doesn't come off as good when you're stirring. So that's why I scrape it, and then I scrape it down off the side of the cup down into the resin, so you got it all in the resin. Okay, and last but not least, the bright gold pigment powder, which mixes up really, really well. Oh, look at that. And I don't know what it is. I'll have to figure that out. That might be a occurrence that I just can't explain. Why pigment powders mix easier. Maybe it's because they're powders. I don't know. Okay, now let me get rid of that. Got my alcohol rag so I can wipe off my fingers. Now, I wipe these off too with alcohol. Now, you just want to put a little bit of your base down, because you're going to move it around with your fingers. You don't need a really, really thick layer because you're going to be putting more resin on top of it. But you want this down to cover. You need resin only goes where there is other resin. So you always want to do on your pieces. You always want to do a layer. Why am I at a loss for words today? Okay, one thing you need to check when you're doing this is make sure you don't have a dirty glove finger, because whatever colors on your glove will get in your color, and you don't want that. You want this to be pristine. Okay, and I'm gonna put some of that on here because I don't need that much. I'm just pushing it up to the edge. Okay, now I'm not going to pick this one up. A little bit too big. Now, because it's the same color over here, you can use the same finger. I'm explaining everything in case somebody is watching that is very brand new to resin and wants to know the little things about what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm just going to push this around, get it up to the edge. Resin is self-leveling, so that's the really important reason why you want to make sure your pieces are level, because if it's not level, it'll go off to the lowest point. Let me get this little guy over just a little bit. You know what? I don't want to have it too close while I'm doing this piece right here. Okay, my rule of thumb with any of your heat sources: turn it on for 5 seconds, not blowing on your piece. You're blowing your dust boogers out. This is the first time today I've turned my gun on, so that's why I'm making sure I get rid of the dust boogers. And all you need to do is just go over it real quickly just to get rid of the air bubbles. because you don't want that air bubble there and then have it come up through the color you put on top of it. Okay, now let me stand up so I can see what I'm doing. Now, I don't want to take the color like people do in acrylic pouring and put it down on the paper, so I am just going to take my string. This is just regular cotton string. Doesn't have the label on it anymore. I got it at Walmart, okay? It comes in a ball. It's over in the, I think, hardware department. Okay, so basically, I am just getting my string with the resin on it. And then basically, don't let it drip on your piece. Basically, I'm going to put it right here. It dripped a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, now, to do the shape of a peacock feather, you want to keep it close. You want to drag it through, okay? That's the stem of it. Then you want to have it come out as you're dragging it. And then you want to kind of bring it back in. Now don't worry if it doesn't look like you got enough color on there, because we'll fix that. We're going to be putting the drop in there. Okay, I'm not reusing that string. Yeah, it came out a little bit. See, there's a way, I saw her do this in her acrylic pour, and I figure it would work with the resin too. And there's a couple of things she did to kind of manipulate. Okay. Put it down real quick so I don't get any drips. Okay. Close to the center. You don't want to... And you don't want to really be dragging your white. Okay, now go out with your string. And then come back in. I'm going to try to drag it all the way off. Okay, now be very careful with it. You don't, as you're putting the string back down, you don't want it to drip. Okay, I want to do just one little thing before I put the color on. I just want to get this a little bit. See, it doesn't really look like a feather, but it is what it is, okay? Resin does not act like acrylic. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is I want to put, now you don't want a whole lot because resin's going to spread out, so I'm going to use my stick, and I want oval shape of some sort right here, okay? Because that, you're not going to do much else with it right here except blow it out. Up, see? See, you got to be careful. Oh, you know what I forgot? Well, maybe I can, I forgot the black. Oh, well. Okay, then you want to do some gold right in the middle of this, so it'll push out the lighter green. You know, I didn't do a black, but I can always just add a little bit of the dark green in the middle. Okay, and then, yeah, I know I got two sticks in here. Okay, let me put that one down there. Then I want to do a little bit of the blue in the middle of the gold. You don't want a whole lot because it's going to push out the gold. And then, of course, the Breakfast at Tiffany's. This stuff is so light. Okay, and then, because I forgot to make black, I'm going to do a very, very small dot of the green right there. Okay, now, I'm not happy with the feather part, so I had seen her take some little short strings, okay? And I'm basically gonna get some resin on the string, and I'm basically going to put it down. I put it down the wrong way. Okay. I put that one down the wrong way. Should have done it the other way so I could pull it. Okay, so let me do it the right way over here. Because resin's going to do what resin wants to do, and you're just trying to manipulate it the best you can. Okay. And if you think you got too much of the white on your string, just wipe it off. Get some more on there. And another thing you can do is you can just drag the string right through it if you want to get that more feathered effect. Okay, it's not really well, maybe it's because I didn't have the black and the blue's not dark enough, but it looks, you can tell it's supposed to be a peacock feather. Okay. And I do want to do a straight line right down the middle. Now she added some more of the lighter green right here. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to mess with what I have. Okay. Get rid of the whitish off of there. Get some more of the dark resin on there. See, there I just dripped some more. And you can always, when you got a drip that you want to get rid of, you can always just drag your string right back through it. Okay, this doesn't look like an actual feather string pull, but I like it. It's pretty close to what I wanted. Okay, let me see how I can do this. I want to try to move that dot out of there, or at least make it not look like a dot. Okay, that's about it I'm going to do on the feather. Okay, so now I'm not going to try to do feathers on those. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Not that small. So to me, it looks like a peacock feather, an abstract one, but it looks like a peacock feather. So basically, let me get rid of my strings. Oops, don't want to put it on a clean string. Okay, now I'm going to move this a little closer. Let me make sure you can still see it. This guy is just about done. I'm going to let him sit over here. I don't want them to drip on my jars, so I'm just moving these closer. Okay, now basically I'm just going to do some little tiny stripes and maybe swipe it. You always want to start your little stripe off the edge so you don't get that big blob like I just got right there. Well, it is what it is. Okay, I have no idea how this blue is going to show up on the white. It's probably going to look really super light, but when I frame these, I might mount them on a piece of mat board and put them in a big frame together. Or you can also just, wait a minute, let me swipe these colors, then add the gold. You want to get the air bubbles out, and you also want to get it a little bit liquid, so you heat it up a little bit. Now I think I'm just going to do a swipe straight down. Well, at a curve. Probably should have done them as opposite. I don't know. Okay, now, before I put any gold on, because gold takes over, I'm going to try to get some cells. So I'm trying to turn my heat gun up, which means I have to talk a little louder for you to hear me. You want to get your heat gun a little close. Let me go over this one more time just to get rid of bubbles. I can see a couple of little tiny dry spots that I can touch up with the white on the edge. Okay, now I made way too much gold. I just want to do a thin line. Come on. Oh, I should have remembered Tammy Anderson's trick about using a thick, a bigger stick, because you get more resin on it, so when you tilt it and you're doing your lines, it doesn't run out of resin. I'm just kind of following the shape of the colors. Okay. Let me heat up that gold and blow it out a little bit, and we're going to call this done. String pulls sometimes don't always work with resin, but I tried, okay? All I'm trying to do is just blow the gold out just a little bit. I don't want to use my lung power, so I'm trying to do it with the heat. And I'm trying to blow that over to the edge just a little bit to get the edge covered. I do have some cell action there. I didn't get much cell action over here. That's what my problem is, why it's not blowing. Try to blow that green back in a little bit. Into a straight line. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's a piece of gold. There you go. This is today's video experiment of doing hang on a second. My chair is not on my rug. Doing an experiment in resin that you normally see it done in acrylic pouring. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, please tell me why. I always want to know why people give me that thumbs down. I get one thumbs down every now and then, and it's not irritating, it's making me wonder, what am I doing wrong? Oops. Be careful when you with your heat gun. I have a 12 by 12 tile that I lay it down on, because you don't want to lay it down on a other surface because of the heat. So anyway, I thank you for watching. I love the resin right out of you, like my, I forgot to put my sign up. Like my little sign says, let me see. I love the resin right out of you, okay? And I appreciate all the support I've been getting. I love getting new subscribers, so share away my page. Tell them to go look at this lady that does experiments in resin. And so thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in my next video. So bye for now.